Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And here with me today, I have a diamond in the rough I'd like you guys to meet. This here is Landon Ruggieri. He is a wide receiver out of Bryant University. Nice to have you today, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Sure thing, man. Obviously, we have a wide receiver here who was a favorite target for Bryant. Ended up with a lot of great accolades this year. Was named on some All-American lists. Was first team All-CAA and put together a great season this past year, putting himself in a position where now he is an NFL prospect. So, Landon, introduce yourself and let's get going.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Yorktown Heights, New York. It's probably people consider it upstate, but it's like 30 minutes away from the city, not upstate at all. And then from there, I walked on to Bryant University as a PWO and ended up staying there all 5 years, having a solid career, and now I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, training for the NFL.
Nice. So Landon, let's go back and try and clear up any of this stuff and help. Yeah, I guess put together this platform and background that you've been able to put together. So, uh, first off, how long have you played football? Can you give me a little sense of your background?
Yeah, so I started playing tackle football in fifth grade, which I always wanted to play, but that was just the earliest my town started letting you play tackle. So it was flag before that, and then tackle ever since.
So, I would imagine been a wide receiver ever since the beginning, right?
Actually, no, I actually played quarterback up until my senior year of high school.
Interesting. So you were under the helm.
Yeah, I was actually not very good though, and I was also like 5'1" until my senior year of high school.
All
So I
right.
was a
Well,
short, undersized QB. Yeah,
yeah, definitely undersized. Did eventually get that growth spurt.
yeah,
Looking at a guy who's what about 6 foot tall these days, or what?
yeah, like 6'1".
Yeah. So obviously, man, people get their growth spurts late. I'm in
Yeah.
my 40s, still waiting on mine. So we'll see. Maybe next year. I don't know. But anyhow, as you had mentioned from Yorktown Heights, New York, whether or not you want to call that upstate,
Yeah.
whatever. But uh, from Lakeland High School, that's what I have in my
Yep.
notes. Um, can you give me maybe your favorite high school memory of you as an athlete?
Favorite high school memory. So, like I said, I was the 5'1" quarterback until senior year, so I didn't play at all. And once I grew and decided I wanted to play receiver, my first game on varsity was my senior year. And on the first drive, I caught a jump ball for about 25 yards. And just that moment, like finally being able to play high school football and football well, just kind of gave me the direction of, okay, I can play receiver and at a high level.
Nice. So uh, you ever play any other sports in your high school days, or was it strictly just football?
It was mainly just football. I played basketball, but not really like just kind of on the side. Not really played well, but
Gotcha. So again, I'm looking at a guy who was a quarterback, was a backup quarterback for a good
mhm.
long while,
Yeah.
and then of course, only had really 1 year as a wide receiver. Probably had to affect your recruiting to some extent.
Oh yeah.
But of course, that's probably one of the reasons why you ended up walking on to Bryant.
hmm
Was that always going to be the institution for you? I mean, did you have any other places of interest or no?
No, it was a couple D3 schools reaching out, and then Bryant had Coach McKay, or my wide receiver coach while I was there, said they have a spot for me, and I was like, yep, because like I said in high school, once I finally grew, I felt that I could play at the high level, but I just didn't have a chance to show it yet. So I was like, let me bet on myself and walk on.
Gotcha. So you walk on. When did you get put on scholarship?
So after so the first year I was there was COVID, so we didn't have any games. And then the first season that we played, I played in our first game. I scored a touchdown to Rhode Island, and then after that, they put me on.
I guess they felt, hey, we got a playmaker on our hands.
Yeah,
Let's make sure he's taken care of and he doesn't have any debt.
yeah,
So Sounds nice, man. Obviously, Bryant was the place who really took a chance on you. What makes that place special for you?
Yeah, just that they were the only people to really give me a chance, like out of 300 Division One teams, they were the only one to even let me be on the team.
Mm.
So I was
Well,
never gonna switch up on them.
all right. Well, what else were you able to do there? I mean, again, being there for 5 years, I'm assuming you've obtained at least one degree. I mean, what's your academic status?
Yeah, I got a degree in finance.
Nice. So, hypothetically, once football's done, how are you going to be able to utilize that in the professional world?
Hopefully that takes a little while to happen, but I'm not too sure yet.
All right, fair enough. I mean, of course,
Yeah,
you spend a whole lot of time doing this football thing, so
yeah, hopefully.
maybe when things maybe calm down, you
Yeah.
can focus more time on it. Obviously, playing a wide receiver, as I had mentioned, really the go-to guy there in that Bryant offense. Um, Talk a little bit about yourself as a receiver. What do you feel you have going for you? Maybe some of your better traits as an
Mm.
athlete.
I'd say my hands for sure, number one. Had very few, if any, drops this year and the years prior. Only one that stands out to me this year that I wish I still have nightmares about, but don't drop the ball even when people are covering me, still catch it. And we've had people in practice be like, "How do you just catch it when I'm on you?" Like even when they think they cover me. So, and I'd say with that, also versatility. Some games I played 100% slot, and some games I played 100% outside. So just being able to win from every position and come up with the ball.
Yeah, just confirming that, when before I, met up with you, of course, was able to go on PFF and literally, like you said, I mean, sometimes you're a slot receiver, sometimes you're, out wide. It's
Yeah,
it's almost 50-50.
yeah.
So you get a guy who can be utilized in a lot of different facets, obviously
Mhm.
that versatility. Any special teams usage for you at all throughout
Yeah,
your time or no?
I was the punt returner for last year until I got hurt, and then this year the entire year. Didn't return many punts because we just tried to block all of them. So I was just back there fair catching them really, but I was the punt returner and then I was the gunner on punt depending on the situation.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, of course, dude, it's always nice to be able to bring that to the table as a prospect, at least
Yeah,
some game time experience of you returning, and then also, of course, being
yeah.
the gunner. Um, any tackles at all in your time or no?
I had two, but I think they were both on offense this year. But I could tackle. They just didn't have me play special teams because of all the offensive roles, kind of. But I can
Hey,
definitely do it.
I mean, it's fine. It's not something that you're asked to do too often.
Yeah,
And plus you're a wide receiver, which, like you had mentioned, I mean, we're more so focused on your hands and your ability to catch the ball. Talk a little bit about you as a receiver and maybe even tell us about I don't know, maybe your favorite play or favorite route you like to run for your quarterback.
definitely go ball. If we watch like the film from this year, I scored 15 touchdowns. I bet 11 of them were on go balls. Like we just were able to win on that. Only never really even had many incomplete go balls. Like when we threw them, we completed them. Me and Jared Guest and Brendan Meyer, the quarterbacks, we completed. I would love to see the stats on other people's go balls completions, but we had to be up there in the country.
Interesting. And as I was looking into your stats, bro, they threw you the ball uh, so much this year. I mean, I was trying to look at like how you stood amongst other people with your targets. I want to say you're somewhere in like the top 20 in like all of Division One when it comes to your targets. I mean, they kept on throwing you the ball, man. And obviously had some games where you're pulling in like 10, 12 receptions a game.
Yeah,
So it's something that I know you're confident in being that number one receiver.
yeah,
So just kind of wanted to throw that out there for people. Obviously, you were also mentioning some of the people around you who have really put you in that position, of course,
Yeah.
having a quarterback and all. Talk about the rest of that offense there for Bryant.
Yeah, so in the beginning I had Zevi Eckhouse, who I'm sure you're familiar with, who was awesome. Back then we completed just as many passes as this year in 22 and a little bit 23, but now this year Jared Guest and Brennan Meyer, Brennan's a freshman and he was able to step in like no freshman I've seen before, except for maybe when Zevi did it when he first got there. It was kind of crazy how similar they were, but yeah, just they all three of them really believed in me, and we had some other weapons on offense too, like Fabrice and Drew Montez, who really were able to draw the defense towards them too. So I was able to get some one-on-ones, and even when they would double, they still trusted me to throw it. So
Gotcha. A lot happening for Bryant over these past few seasons, man. I mean, I feel like Bryant's really trying to put themselves in a position where they can recruit a little bit better. They've been bouncing around a little bit from conference to conference. It was NEC, it was Big South, and now, of course, they're in the CAA. Talk about some of that competition over the years, man. I mean, I know it's perhaps maybe a little different being in the CAA versus being in the NEC, but I know you've seen a little bit of everything there in the FCS.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Like you said, when I got there, NEC to Big South to CAA, definitely see the competition improving from like this year. Every week is a team that either like was in the playoffs or had some history of success, which was new for us this year. And I'd love to see the growth because it really meant that the school and like the athletic directors and all were buying into us as a team. And like you obviously want to play at the highest level and want to compete against the highest guys to give yourself a shot and make a name for yourself. So I loved it. Thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, this past year, I mean, again, still growing, still trying to get accustomed to playing in the CAA. So,
Yeah.
not a lot of wins, unfortunately. Um, when you have these moments, these seasons when things maybe aren't going exactly how you want, what keeps you motivated?
Kind of just like I said, I've been there for 5 years. And I want to get as many wins as possible and leave the place better than when I found it. And even though we didn't get the wins, we were in a lot of games and the CAA. So I feel like that's going to give them kind of a stepping stone to hopefully get more wins next year and then more the year before and eventually win it.
Gotcha. Well, one of the wins that I wanted to talk about this past season was against Brown, where I mean, I guess it's all generally like in the same region. I mean, again, you guys have faced a lot of people in the Ivy League, and Bryant
Yep.
itself could, I mean, it's up there, of course. Academically, it could obviously
Hmm.
potentially be Ivy League in its own right. But you guys were able to deliver a very solid win against that opponent. And bro, you had a phenomenal outing against them. 10 receptions, 190 yards, 3 touchdowns. Walk me through some of those great moments in that game.
I mean, yeah, that one was unreal. They, we've had a lot of close games with them since I've been there, so that was a big one for sure. That was circled on the calendar, and the best moment maybe in my football career was when it was fourth down and we threw a 40-yard go ball touchdown at the end of the game to go up, and that was unreal. I don't know if you've seen the clip and the highlights, but that was unreal.
Yeah, so I mean, again, heavily targeted
Uh,
in that offense. They utilize you in a whole different ways in that game. Definitely a game to go back for a scout so that they can see a lot of what you bring to the table. Looking at a guy who's comfortable, as a speed guy, who can run these go balls, of course.
yeah.
Anything else about your game that you feel like people sleep on, or what?
My strength. I think that's going to surprise a lot of people. I think I'd be the strongest receiver in this draft class. Maybe not, maybe any draft class. And DK, I was looking at the bench. I'm going to be up there, probably mid 20s and 225 bench. And I could squat near 600 pounds, max one rep near 450. And I think people might not even like looking at me notice that. But I think it's something that could translate in blocking, route running, like getting people off you, and even special teams.
Yeah, I mean, in a weird sense, Landon, it sounds more like you have almost like a running back's body. Like it's,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you take that if assessment, or I
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily call it a criticism. I mean,
Hmm. I don't
what do you
look
think?
like in like if you looked at me in person, you would like it doesn't look like I'm that strong. Like more like a receiver, not as much running back.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, usually the running backs are stout, thick,
Mm, yeah.
just got these massive legs to them. Because I mean,
Yeah.
of course, I mean, if you're squatting 600 or something, like you got to have the
Yeah.
thighs to do it.
Yeah.
um, cool, man. So obviously put together a solid, career there at Bryant. Ended, fairly well with some of these accolades. Again, I listed you were second team All American. Eight on the eight Associated Press, and a lot of others as well. Was named first team All CAA. When you look at all of your accolades, what are you most proud of, man?
Um, Definitely the All-American because in 22 I was first team All Big South and I wanted the All-American and no one gave it to me. And then after being hurt in 23, like coming back and getting that was really meant a lot for me. And also I led the country in the receiving touchdowns. That was something that I wrote down in my goals on New Year's Eve that I wanted to lead the FCS in at least one receiving stat, and I did it. So that one was also just as big.
Nice. And so you wrapped up your time there at Bryant, and then after that, you ended up taking your talents to the College Gridiron Showcase in Fort Worth, Texas.
Yep.
Talk briefly about your time there. Obviously, there's a lot going on, within the all-star setting. How did that experience help you?
I definitely love the practices, seeing like all the scouts lined up and all the different levels of players there. Like I remember seeing like a Florida State helmet and then a team I could not recognize that must have been Division 3. So it's just cool seeing like all the best players like in one, and in all the one-on-ones I felt like I've won every single one and just felt like I was one of the best there, and it was great feeling to have knowing I could compete against not just CAA Big South but everybody.
Oftentimes, what happens in the all-star setting is, you're again, as you had mentioned, like you're surrounded by people from a little bit of everywhere.
Hmm.
Really, what it gives you is it gives you an opportunity to, get out there, meet some people, build some relationships. So whether it be with some of the other wide receivers, maybe the quarterback throwing to you, and then of
Yeah.
course, some scouts. Obviously, sitting down, interviewing with some people. Talk about some of those relationships maybe that you had made during your time there.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. The quarterback throwing me the one-on-ones was the Seth Morgan from New Hampshire. And right away, when first one-on-one rep, he's like, "I already know what route you want," because he said he saw it when we played him. So we completed 3 go balls there, and that was pretty cool. And then sat down with the Patriots, which was awesome because I've met this scout at school before. So just getting to talk to them was surreal.
It's got to be somewhat surreal sitting down with the Patriots. Like, as a New York guy, I don't know where your allegiance lies
Yeah.
as a fan. Maybe growing up as a kid, but regardless what it was, man, it had to be cool.
Mhm. Oh
So,
yeah, definitely
um,
awesome.
I mean, as a guy who maybe study some players at the next level, like who is that for you, man? Who are you a big fan of? As who's doing it at the elite level in the NFL?
Definitely Cooper Kupp and Adam Thielen. I think Adam Thielen, I feel like me and him play very similar. So I love watching him. Cooper Kupp, I would always watch my coach. And he was big on Puka Nakua, so we watched a lot of him. Just
Gotcha.
gritty guys. Yeah.
When I think of Cooper Cup, I always think of, he's not really the fastest, but he's one of the
No.
smartest guys
Yeah.
out. And so
Mhm.
I don't know if maybe you see yourself as similarly,
Yeah, definitely.
where like you just kind of find your soft spot in coverage that you can take advantage of
Yeah.
and really do well with it. Um, cool, man. So, what are you doing right now? You had mentioned that you're somewheres down in Florida.
Yeah, I'm in Fort Lauderdale, or right outside of Fort Lauderdale, training at Bommarito for
All
the
right,
for the
cool. And obviously, you're training for your pro day.
Hmm.
How are things coming along with some of those things? I mean, you had mentioned right now, of course, bench is going to be phenomenal, but
Yeah.
some of the other ones that you had mentioned.
I think really well. I think the 40 is going to surprise some people. And just like when we get to the vertical is going to surprise a lot of people and just running routes. I work with a receiver coach out here, Andy Jones, who played in the NFL. And I think just overall my entire pro day and the athleticism is going to be a little bit surprising because of where they project me.
Nice. Well, Landon, we've had a chance to meet you as a football player. I kind of want to meet the guy under the helmet. Uh, Talk to me, man. Tell me a little bit of something about you, some fun fact, if you have any particular interests or anything. Anything that you want to share about yourself, go for
Interest, probably I'm big into like old school like rock music. I went to go see Pearl Jam during the season this year, which was awesome.
it. All right. Um, Anything more there? You said you being like an old school kind of guy. Like,
Mhm.
what are you listening to? Maybe when you're in the locker room and you're getting yourself, I don't know, maybe getting your mind right for a game.
Before every game, even though they played outside, I listened to the national anthem before every game by myself. Uh,
Okay.
my my parents were both in the Air Force, so that's like a big thing. So
Hey, obviously having military parents is a little different.
no,
Uh, did you ever live in any other place, or were they
no, they
living?
were done. They were done like when I came along. So
Okay, okay. I was just kind of curious as to,
yeah,
an overall development, but definitely instilling discipline in you early. Uh,
yeah,
Usually, when you have military parents, it's either one end of the spectrum or the other when
hmm
you get discipline.
hmm
But it's cool to kind of throw that out there. Any other fun facts or any I don't know, you have any secret talents or anything that we need to know?
no secret talents. I think the kind of just straightforward football guy. Not much.
All right. Landon, I'm gonna try and throw some questions out your way, completely non-football related, just for fun.
Cool.
Um, you ever play an instrument, or is there maybe an instrument that you would love a chance to learn?
I in school growing up, they made us pick one. I played the trombone, but I wasn't any good at it.
So it's something that you probably wouldn't even
No,
pick it up anymore, or no?
no,
So are you a musically inclined guy? I mean, again,
not
being
at
like an
all.
old school rocker, so to speak, you wouldn't try to pick up a guitar or anything?
No, not at all. Not very.
All right, all right. How's your rhythm? Maybe drums? No?
Probably not. Probably
No,
not any good.
it's all good. Let me throw some more questions your way. Favorite superhero? I don't know if you're a superhero guy.
Batman. I like Batman.
So 100% Batman. That was
Yeah.
like no hesitation.
Mm.
So love that one. Um, Maybe favorite snack food.
Favorite snack food. I'd say it's more of a dessert than snack food, but I eat a lot of like every time they're out, like the Pillsbury Doughboy cookies. Big
All
fan of
right.
those. Those
Okay.
are
Obviously, right now, I mean, you're trying to stick to a strict diet as
no,
you're
I'm banned
training.
from those. I can't eat them, but
Yeah, no, no.
when they're out.
No, I understand. I mean, you're on a strict diet right
Hmm.
now, like you're
Yeah.
training, like you don't want to mess up anything. You don't want to make
No.
yourself any slower, of course.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm sure maybe somewhere along the line you'd have like a cheat meal or something that you can fall back on. I
Yeah.
was thinking for a guy from New York, I always ask about maybe like your favorite pizza joint.
Ooh. Not not a huge just go out and get pizza guy.
All right,
Not as much.
fair
The best
enough.
thing, the best New York food is the bacon, egg, and cheeses, though. I those are probably the best cheat meal
All right, all right.
in the
That hey,
morning.
that works.
Hmm.
Um, See if I can maybe ask you one more question and then we wrap up
Cool.
this. Let me see if there's anything else here. No other, I don't know, superstitious thing you might do like before a game other than listening to the national anthem or no?
I have a superstition in games. It's kind of like weird, but before every single play, I'll spit on my gloves and like because I used to do it just before the pass plays, and they were like, you can't do that because teams will pick up on it. So now it's like every single play, like I have to do it or it'll be in my head.
So even if it's like a fake spit,
Yeah, every single time, and it's kind
ah,
of weird, but like I have to do it.
well, hopefully that doesn't cue too many people.
Yeah.
It'll make me want to go back and look at some of your film just to check in on it. Uh,
Hmm.
but I'm sure that's something you're trying to either utilize just to continue to do it or just completely phase it out.
Yeah.
Maybe throw some people off.
Hmm.
That would be interesting. Um, Obviously, man, we've been talking now for a while, sharing about you and your story. Do need to wrap things up because obviously you got places to go, things to do. Got to get yourself right for this pro day. When is that pro
Yeah.
day?
March 26th.
March 26th. Going to be here in about a month.
Yep.
So definitely best of luck to you on that.
Thank you.
Go ahead and wrap things up with things and tell all these NFL teams why they need to take a chance on this kid out of Bryant University.
Basically, just consistency and being a reliable receiver and reliable person. Like throughout my whole college career, I caught the ball and did what I had to do and never caused any problems, never made any missed any assignments, never really dropped any passes. So just overall being reliable and like we said earlier, the versatility can play outside, can play inside, can play special teams, can do whatever the team needs.
Yeah, and I mean, as we've kind of mentioned, also with how Bryant has grown, you have grown also as a player, rising to the challenge year in and year out, playing up to your competition, and putting yourself in a good position moving forward. All right, so I just want to wish you all the best with what you got going on.
Thank you.
Sure thing. Oh, again, I have with me Landon Ruggieri, wide receiver out of Bryant. Take care.